How many ways to use conversion gel? Let me count the ways. Let me count on Melissa DeLaCruz to show us. What are you gonna do for us today?
I'm gonna show like 3 different ways, or a few different ways. I don't really know how many yet. You could use an overlay on a natural nail with conversion gel. It's actually quite cool, super fun. You can make a lot of money off of conversion gel doing a natural look.
I love it. You guys asked, how do we use it? We're gonna show you right now how to do it.
Hi, today I'm going to show you some conversion gel, what you could do with it, how it's used, other than just using slick pour. I'm going to customize a lot of looks. This is designed more for like an active length nail or an overlay. I wouldn't extend with this. It's great for those more natural nail, short nail, active length clients. So let's get started. As you could see that I prepped already with the 150 grid, what I'm going to do is put protein bond on all 3. And I personally like to start on the bottom and work my way up to the cuticle. It kind of helps me not flood the cuticle. Once you go through all 10, you're going to add another coat. Now this is just for added insurance. It helps you know that your client's nails are not going to lift, it's going to bond very well, and that it's really going to adhere. Okay, so my first look I'm going to do a little bit of a custom mix. It'll be fun. I'm going to use Girl Gang. And I'm going to custom mix 4 glitters with it. So I'm going to do Funk-A-Delic, Sakura Storm, Hologram, and Star Sand. So I'm going to custom mix these in here. Now when you use a slick pour and conversion gel, this is exactly what I'm going to be using. The more slick pour you use in your mix with your glitter, the stronger the nail's going to be, okay? Now remember, this is pretty much an overlay, so you don't need a lot of strength. So if you want more color, a solid color of slick pour, you would add more of that and a little bit of glitter. But you could also get away with adding more glitter and a little bit of slick pour in the mix. So I'll show you how it's done. I'm gonna take some Girl Gang, put some in here. I don't really want to pour it in here, it'll kind of make a mess, so I'm just gonna kind of scoop some scoops in here. Now you could fill it all the way to the top if you want to add glitter, but what that's going to do is have a little bit of glitter in it and more of a solid color. So I want a little more glitter. So what I'm going to do is add some Star Sand, Sakura Storm, such a pretty soft pink color. Funk-A-Delic will give it a little bit of a funky purple glow. Then let's do some Hologram to give it a little rainbow effect in it. Let's go ahead and close this. Kind of roll it. That's mixed pretty good. Let's see what it looks like. That's going to be a pretty soft color. Now at this point, let's say you want a little more sparkle. You could add, it's not a ratio like when you build an acrylic nail where you do like a 3:1. This is just an overlay. You're not building any extension, and you're going to have some strength with your conversion gel and with some of the slick pour you put in it. So if you want to add a little more bling to it, you can. So there's no like actual ratio for this. I would just always add some slick pour so it adds a little bit more strength. Of course, I wanted it a little more shiny. That's cool. What I'm going to do is put everything into my conversion base. My first coat, what I'm going to do is put real thin, like very, very thin, and this is why. I'm adding a little bit of glitter to it. So what I'm going to do is cure this after I put pressure on it. See how I'm putting pressure on it? This is going to be my barrier between my glitter and her natural nail. So I'll go 30 seconds under the light. My next coat's going to be a little heavier, not quite as thin, because all of my glitter and my slick pour is going to go into this coat. Now there's 2 ways you could do it. I do like to put this underneath to catch some of the glitter. You could go ahead and sprinkle it on, or you could use this and dip it on. I think I'm going to sprinkle it because it's a little more easier for me to keep sprinkling all around the barrier first. And then kind of put a little bit more on, let it sit there. And as you can see, as it sits there, it kind of twinkles a little. That's because the the gel is absorbing the glitter and the slick pour that I put inside there. So always let it absorb a little, tap it off. The glitter's kind of sticking out a little, you could always fix it. Now I'm going to cure this for 30 seconds. Okay, once I come out, I'll dust off her finger and I'll determine if I need to add more. Usually I'll look at the side and see what's the thickness of it. Now if her nail was about this short, can you see right here, like really, really active length, had no free edge at all, you could get away with one coat. You don't want it to be too thick. The more coats you add, the thicker it's going to get. The little bit longer the nail is, the more you could add. So she has a little bit of extension here, and I would not have her wear her nails any longer than this with using conversion gel the way I'm showing you. It's more for like an active, sporty look with a little slight length over it. So if you want to put a little bit more, we can. Let's go ahead and add one more time. Let's come in here, put another coat of base. This is such a pretty neutral bling. It's so pretty. It'll match anything they wear. And I'll just put a little bit more in here for a little more shine. Okay, I like that. So we'll do 30 more seconds. So what I'm going to do is encapsulate it with another coat of base. So you'll go through base a lot because you're building with it. You'll probably go through your base more than your top coat and using conversion gel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of encapsulate it. So I am going to get a lot on one side of my brush and kind of float over it. There we go. And I'm going to kind of self-level it all the way over this, and you could see it all self-level. Okay, once I have that, now I'll final cure it for 1 full minute. So after curing this for 1 minute, I would wipe off the sticky and file it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple more designs and I'll file them all at once. Okay, so let's go on to this next one. I already prepped and protein bonded. I'm going to do kind of like a vacation nail because I'm really wanting to go on vacation by the water. So I'm going to use Borealis Blue, and I'm going to use a Mylar called Blueberry Mint Ice, and I'm going to use some Moody. I'm going to do the same thing I did to the other one. I'm going to put a very thin layer of clear. This will help you when you're filing it off, that you pretty much stop when you don't see any more glitter. It'll be down to their base coat. Kind of keeps a barrier from the glitter and your natural nail. It makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to do 30 seconds with my first coat. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another coat of base, a little bit more than I put on before, just so it has enough product on there to absorb what I'm going to put in it. So I'm going to put the slick pour in it, and it's going to absorb it very nice. This is actually my first time using this color. I'm kind of obsessed. Super pretty. Let it absorb a little. As you could see, it kind of moves. If you tack it off too soon, then it's not going to give the time for it to really have that depth of color and the strength in it. So from here, I'll go ahead and do this. And if I see I got a little bit off of my nail, like right here, I'll clean it at this point right now. Okay, so let's cure this 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is dust this off. And then the next coat, what I'm going to use, some Moody. Then I'll get my Blueberry Minty Ice. Again, separating it so the pieces kind of separate pretty well. I tend to get more than I need with this because I pick my pieces out like one by one. I like the flatter pieces for this. I don't want to add any thickness to it, not much. So what I'll do from here is I'll take my conversion base. This color is amazing. There's a little spot right there I missed. It's not a big deal. I'll show you how to get it. What I would do is I'm not going to put it all the way up. I would get a little bit, just a very little. Put it at your cuticle area and let it absorb because that's where I needed to add. Now what I'm going to do is touch my nail because it has some gel on it and get my little pieces. So I'm going to randomly place some pieces in different spots. So there's 2 colors in this. It's kind of cool to purchase this color because it's like kind of 2 in 1. because we sell minty and we sell blueberry. Well, this is blueberry and minty mixed. Let's get a Moody. Remember, I like to overlap my stuff a little because it gives it a really cool effect. Put this in here. Let's put one more of these right here. A few more pieces of Mylar. So you could actually get this crazy dimensional effect by using conversion gel on a natural nail. It's so amazing. So you don't have to have really long nails or artificially built nails to add length to have really cool nails. Okay, so now I like the way that looks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cure this for 30 seconds so it holds on to everything. So now what I'm going to do is just dust off that little spot there. So as you could see from the side, you could see a little bit of bulk. What I'm going to do is take my conversion base and overlay it. I may do it in 2 coats just because I have so much stuff in it. Usually 1 coat will cover, like a liberal coat will cover well over glitter, but this has more in it. So what I'm gonna do is come in with my conversion base and I'm gonna kind of float it. So let me come in and get a little bit more. Kind of float it on and you'll actually watch it self-level. I am in love with this color. It's so pretty. Okay, so from here what I'm gonna do is cure this 30 seconds. In between coats, you notice it's 30 seconds. When I'm done with the nail entirely, I cure it for 1 full minute. So when this nail comes out, what I'm gonna do is look at it from the side, and if I see a lot sticking up, I'm gonna add a little bit more to self-level. What that'll do, it will make it a little thicker, but when I go to file it thinner, it'll shave into my Mylar instead of chipping it out. So I kinda like to make sure it's totally encased. So from here, looks great on top, right? When you look at it from the side, it's self-leveled pretty well. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more through here, just a little bit more so it has like a nice arch, cure it for 1 full minute, and then we'll go into 1 more nail and file them all once at the same time. So just cover this real lightly. See how I lighten my touch right here? How I kind of bring up my brush and I could get even more through there. So I kind of use my brush from my base like I would a gel brush when I'm building a nail. Okay, so now I cured it 1 minute. If I was ready to file this, I would wipe off the sticky and file, but I'm gonna show you 1 more nail that you could do with some conversion gel. So what I'm going to do is put conversion base really thin. Now this is gonna create a barrier from my color and the natural nail. Let's cure this 30 seconds. So the colors I'm going to use is Dunk-A-Punk. That's my slick pour. That's going to add some of my strength and my color. And right here I have a combination of 6 of these Mylars. I have Blueberry Minty Ice, Raspberry Ice, Lemonade Icy, Lime Icy, Blueberry Icy, and Lemon Icy. And then I'm going to add a couple glitters. I'm going to add Shock and a little bit of Purple Dawn. So let's add some of this color. You know, I'll just add enough as if I'm doing a set of 10. So then that way that will help you to know really how much would you mix. You'll have a little bit left over, but not much. Because sometimes you might not want to use all your slick pour or make something that high, like to where it's there on your shelf for a while. So let's make one as if I'm doing it for a set of 10. So I put 3 to 4 scoops in here. Then I'm going to take my Shock, pour my Shock in here. Then I'm going to add my Purple Dawn. I think I just want a little bit for light to come through it. Okay, let's close this up. I might add a little more glitter. I'll know when I open it. You know what? I'll add a little bit more. Why not? A little more Purple Dawn. Or not Purple, that actually this was Shock. And now I'm gonna add Purple Dawn. There we go. That should be perfect. This is probably enough for 2 sets to tell you the truth, depending on how many layers you're putting on. If it's short set, 2, a little bit longer, probably 1. Yes, I love it. Okay, so these are the 2 colors I'm gonna use. I'll put them to the side and let's go into our conversion base. Cover the entire nail. Kind like to put this under because it kind of catches it. I like to go around the perimeter of the nail first because it kind of covers easier. And then come in and fill the top. Come back to the sides. There we go. That's a really cool color too. So I let it soak in for a few seconds, like about at least 5 to 10. Okay, now I'm going to dust it off to make sure her sides are clean. It's a really fun color. Now let's cure this for 30 seconds. Okay, so what I'm gonna do from here is go ahead and get my Mylar out and kind of get it with my fingers and spread it out like this. Remember, what this does is kind of break them apart where you have a lot of flat pieces that look like glass. I'm sure that's enough, but let's add a little more just in case I want a bigger piece of a color in there. Okay, that looks really good. So what I'm going to do from here is take my conversion base and put a coat over the entire nail. Now again, if you were missing any somewhere, you could add at this point like I did to this one. She's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just kind of touch my nail because it has gel on it and place these in different spots. I think I kind of want these really big ones. You notice I always go for big pieces because I like the way they facet. That looks really cool. Just overlap these in different spots. It's crazy the different colors they glow. So all I'm doing is creating like a crushed glass effect, kind of like I did here, but this is more of a darker nail. More of a party nail. The other one's more vacation. So now I'll cure this for 30 seconds. Okay, Sally and I were talking and she decided she wanted some gold foil. So I'm going to add a little bit of gold foil in here. What I'll do is I'll take a little bit out and I'm really not going to overpower it with it. I just kind of want a little bit of accent of gold. So what I'll do is I'll come here with not a whole lot of gel, just enough to wet it. Then let's break this up a little. That looks really cool. Good choice, Sally. Oh yes, it gives a really awesome dimension in it. When I encapsulate it, you'll see it more. Add just a couple more little tiny little slivers. Okay, that actually really made it pop. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to add a little more. I didn't cure it yet. I'm going to add a little bit more of a liberal amount so it will self-level over it, kind of encapsulating it. Let's go under the light for 30 seconds. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it from the side and see, should I encapsulate more? Now right here it's sticking up a little higher. I'm definitely going to add another coat. I'm not going to leave it that thick. I'm going to file it after, but remember when I electric file, it'll slice into it real clean and make everything as thick as I want it or as thin as I want it. But it's important to make sure you encapsulate all of it so it doesn't chunk out. And what I mean by chunking out, it's when your electric bit catches it and it's not encapsulated in enough layers that it just rips it right out. And then you usually have to go back and add, or sometimes it still looks fine, but you may have wanted that piece there. So now I'm going to final cure it for 1 full minute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, she cured a full minute. Some of them cured a little longer than a minute. It's not going to hurt the gel. It's not a big deal. It's not in there very long. But what I'm going to do is take my ManiQ Cleanser. And the reason why I'm choosing ManiQ Cleanser is it is a soft gel. So it's even softer than ManiQ. It soaks off faster than ManiQ when you use it like to convert polish, and that's what we originally designed it for. But you're able to do multiple things with that. You're able to do a full set of slick pour. You're able to encapsulate art. It's really, really a great product. I love conversion gel. It's great on the toes. It's really nice. So once I wipe this all off, now I'm going to go into electric filing. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my sides are kind of tight. And the reason why I'm filing first, normally you guys see me go straight into my electric file, right? When it's more of a natural nail, I will kind of get my sides with my file when it's a full overlay. A lot of times I'll do it this way before going into my file just to make sure everything's straight. Once I see that it's straight, I'll come in with my electric file. Now I'm going to put it on 12,000 RPMs. And I'm going to go ahead and shape it real lightly. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on the nail. All I'm going to do is make contact and let the drill bit do the work for me. When you feel the need to put more pressure, usually that means that your bit is getting dull. And when you start putting pressure is when you start creating heat. So your drill bit should really be doing most of the work for you. So I'm going to look at it sideways. I'm going to go through all my zones. So what I'm doing is I'm creating my thickness I want in my arch. Okay, once I have that, I'll come through here and follow through the rest, looking down the barrel of the nail, just getting it on the thicker parts. Have you noticed I haven't touched right here because I took care of that thickness looking at it this way. So now I'm taking care of the bulkness with zone 1 and zone 3 right here. And again, all I'm doing is making contact and it's doing it for me. Okay, on to the next nail. Let's look at her sideways. And right here, I think what I'm going to do is focus on zone 3. Remember, if I break it down in zones 1, 2, and 3 in my files, 1, 2, and 3, what I'll do is come here at 1, up to 2, because you could see there was a little dip there, but I knew it was thick enough. So I'm not going to touch that spot, and I'm going to come straight to 3 and work my way up to 2. So do you see how the arch is coming in now? Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure. All I'm doing is making contact and letting my coarse safety bit do the work for me. So because this is an overlay on a natural nail, doesn't mean it's not an artificial enhancement. It is something that's artificial on top to create a look and color and kind of strength. So just because it's an overlay doesn't mean that it's not an artificial service. But it is more of a natural nail service because you're just doing an overlay on their active length nail or naturally grown out nail. So again, conversion gel is designed for an overlay of a natural nail. It's designed to create our polish collection, a gel polish. It's also designed to create a full slick pour nail of a solid color. So there's many things you could do with this. You can make a living just off of conversion gel. It's pretty fun. Zone 1, going into zone 2. Now this one didn't have quite enough. I mean, it had plenty, but it didn't have quite as much as the others. The others nails had a little bit more because I encapsulated it, so I added another coat or thicker coat to kind of make sure that everything was encapsulated in there and I wouldn't file it out. So this one I didn't have to file as much. All I did was customize a little bit of glitter into my slick pour. Okay, so let's make sure they all look related. You know, I always want them to look the same, right? So let's bring this in a little more. I'm comparing it to there. Okay, that's coming right here. Okay, so let's hand file this now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come in here and just make sure first let's make sure she's in good. That one wasn't. Okay. We don't have to do that to a real person, right? So what I'm doing is just looking down the barrel of the nail and making sure I am shaping everything evenly. Just doing that fine tune of getting everything really tight. I'm excited to finish these nails. They look really pretty. So notice I haven't hit any of my Mylar at all. or my embellishments, it's because I put a really thin coat down first and I didn't really build it really high. So if you're able to encapsulate it and get it kind of low and tight in there, you could create this look very easy just by following the steps I just showed you. Okay, so client profile. Okay, I'll start right here. We all favor a side, right? It's kind of squoval her nails, kind of square with a soft rounded edge. Wow, the colors in that one's really cool. So what I'm going to do from here is dust them all off. Get rid of your dust before you swipe the nails and start gel polishing them. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of swipe. See if I need anything. I just need a little bit more right here at the cuticle. Alrighty, now for the best part. I'm going to take out my conversion top and I'm going to protein bond on top of them just so it hides any scratches and ensures that my top coat's going to stay on. Okay, so now let's go into our conversion top. This is where everything comes alive, so pretty. This is a really cool look to do on a natural nail. Somebody who wears their nails a little shorter or just a little length past their natural free edge. Again, don't forget to charge for all the extra stuff you put in. You would still charge the same amount as far as what you add. So I always say charge $5 for everything you add. If you're not quite at $5 yet, then make sure you're charging something. Because to pay to have all this in stock and be able to create a look like this, you're paying to have it in stock. So that's kind of how you get your raise. So what I'm going to do from here is final cure these. They'll final cure in 1 minute. I'm just going to leave her in here, which will be a 2 full minutes so I could clean up and come back with the finished look. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this.
If you enjoyed our video, please give us a like and also subscribe to our channel. Free education, tons of videos that you can watch. You can head into our insane library and get educated on nails right now.